Cliff Bell's, the premier jazz entertainment venue, presents Smoke Jones and Friends, the 2024 Jazz Artist of the Year. It's Smoke Jones, Saturday, October 5th, with two shows at 7:30 and 9:30 p.m. Mark your calendar and make your reservations now for Smoke Jones and Friends at Cliff Bell's, 2030 Park Avenue in downtown Detroit. Seats are going fast, so make your reservations now at cliffbells.com. Call 313-961-2543 and reserve your seats. It's Smoke Jones and Friends, Saturday, October 5th, for two shows at 7:30 and 9:30 p.m. This will be the show of the season. Don't you dare miss it. This message is for the guys, the type of man that makes a statement without saying a word. It's all about the way you dress. The City Warehouse is the place for real men who know style, from the casual to the boardroom to a formal evening out. The City Warehouse has what you need to make a statement without saying a word. The City Warehouse, 22851 Greenfield Road in Southfield. Call 248-569-8888. And when you've got the outfit just 3 doors down, step into style to purchase shoes made specifically to pair with your outfit at Kingsman Shoes. All of your favorite styles, from the softest calfskins to the finest reptiles. The Kingsman has it all. The Kingsman Shoes at 22755 Greenfield Road, just 3 doors down from the City Warehouse. Both stores open at 10 a.m. Friday and Saturday and 11 a.m. till 6 Monday through Thursday. Make a statement without saying a word. The City Warehouse and the Kingsman Shoes in Southfield, Michigan. When it comes to your car, maintenance is vital. Routine service is key to making sure that you don't have to worry. And there's no better place than 70s Quick Lube Valvoline. They'll change your oil, and they'll use the best. Valvoline products protects 40% better against wear, resists oil breakdown 10 times better, and defends 25% more against deposits than industry standards. You also get a free 18-point safety check with every change. That includes topping off your fluids, brakes, tires, and hoses. Potential issues can be discovered during routine service. Stop by 70s Quick Lube Valvoline at 20827 John R. near 8 Mile Road in Hazel Park, or call 248-547-4114. They're open 7 days a week. At 70s Quick Lube Valvoline, they take care of business because they're the best in the business. The Firm Lawn Care and Snow Removal Service takes care of the outside of your home so you can rest easy on the inside of your home. 313-799-3476. At any season, the firm is on your side with expert lawn care, bush and tree service, debris and snow removal, with handyman services available upon request. The Firm Lawn Care and Snow Removal Service. Call 313-799-FIRM. That's 313-799-3476. Let the firm take care of the outside of your home so you can rest easy on the inside of your home.
You've heard Now Listen. WJZD Radio, Detroit.com.
You guys ready to do this? Good morning. Good morning to each and every one of you. Did you open your eyes this morning and just say thank you? You gotta say thank you. Before your feet hit the floor, roll over, look up at the skies, at the ceiling, and just say thank you. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of this day, Lord. Thank you for forgiving me for the things that I said, the things that I thought, the things that I did that weren't pleasing in your sight, Lord. Thank you for forgiving me. For this opportunity that you've given me, I thank you. Now, I want you to pledge to yourself and pledge to everybody else around you that you're going to do better today than you did yesterday, because that's what we do. Forgive me what I need. That's what we do. Forgive me. You've got to strive to be better each and every day. Yes, yes. We are your new number one 24-hour streaming station that plays jazz and so much more. We are WJZD Radio Detroit.com. And I want to say good morning to my baby. Good morning, Dawn. Good morning, Tamara, Jonathan E. Flatmore, Gaston Brewer, No Bluff and Martin Ruffin, Jay Goody, Gerard Gibbs. Are you guys ready? Just clap your hands this morning. See, this hour we have to pay tribute to this man. He brought us so many years of wonderful, amazing music. Smooth, subtle, soft voice. I had the privilege of meeting Frankie when I was the manager at the Lansdowne many, many years ago. And Frankie was the type of guy, tell you, we had a full nightclub. I believe Norma Jean Bell and the All-Stars was on stage. And Frankie was in the back room. They had just got done doing their show. And I called the owner, and Dr. Kegler came down, and the kitchen was closed. Dr. Kegler cooked shrimp and fries and fish and wings for him. And Frankie was just real cool and mellow. He knew everybody was out there, and he knew that they knew he was in there. So he said, tell you what, 2 at a time, bring them in. I just want to kick it with them. And we took pictures with him. And he said, now, if they create a ruckus, I'm going to have to leave. And we understood that. So, but he was like sitting with the guy next door. He was that cool. You always let it flow. We'll miss him so very much. We lost two amazing voices. I don't think you understand. We lost Frankie. We lost James Earl Jones, who I also had the privilege of meeting very, very brief on an elevator at the airport. And he was like, it is my pleasure to meet you. This hour we're dedicating to Frankie, and we're going to dedicate it to James Earl. This is no longer the Rise and Grind morning show. No, let me tell you, this is no longer the Rise and Grind. This is now my partner and I, my man, 100 Grand. Welcome to the stage. Welcome to the screen, my man, Don Juan in the morning.
Good morning.
What's up, baby? Where you been?
Just working.
Have you grown? Have you grown? Look at you.
I don't know if I've grown up, but I've grown out. A little bigger.
Oh, you grew horizontally.
Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Hey, they're doing great. They were here. As soon as I hit the go live button, they started popping in and populating. And Parker is here, Tamara Yates here, Gerard Gibbs, one of my favorite keyboardists of all time in the Motor City, is with us this morning.
All right.
And Gerard, are you playing down at Baker's tonight? If you guys are in Detroit, go check out Gerard and Galen and the bass pimp himself, Ralph Armstrong. Hey, baby DJ. Uh-oh, go ahead, Juan. Go ahead. She's there listening to you. Go ahead. Let's
Wait a
give
minute.
it to her.
Say hi. Hurry up. Okay, bye.
She just wanted to stick her smiling face in there. Stick that smiling face in there. Give him sugar. Give him sugar. Give him sugar. Okay, now
Okay, I'm back. Good morning, Dawn. How are you doing? It's so lovely to make your acquaintance today, even with my daughter trying to interrupt us. Nothing can stop where we got. You wanna get in on this? Okay. Say good morning to Dawn.
Good morning.
All right, now, bye. Go put on your shirt. No, you don't. Anyway, good morning, everybody.
Hey, John B is with us. Vicky Howard. This is my sister, Vicky Howard Terry. And my man, Delmar. What's going on? D ain't seen you in a while. They got you grinding. I know they do. And Tracy Flack. Juan, we are dedicating the hour to Frankie Beverly. And Dawn says she's a lot more gooder now. Now that she's heard her Wani this morning. Yeah, we're going to start calling him Wani. Hi, Wani.
No.
Okay, that's not going to happen. A lot of stuff. We lost Frankie, and he was just so cool. I mean, I've emceed for a lot. Ortego Smith. Oh my God. My bop diddy bop brother from Coffee Junior High School to Henry Ford High School. He used to live right around the corner from me. And all the girls in junior high school and high school loved Ortego because he had this huge afro and he was ripped like Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know, good morning, Ortego. But like I was getting ready to say, I brought on stage a lot of artists, R&B and jazz artists and everything all over the city. Actually, in Michigan, Ohio, and Texas, and North Carolina, South Carolina, out west. I've been everywhere. And there are two artists that needed no introduction. As a matter of fact, they didn't use introduction. They just walked out there and started playing. The first was Al Jarreau. Al Jarreau only allowed one person to bring him on stage when he was in Detroit. That person was Rosetta Hines because they were besties. Otherwise, Al would just walk out there and say, okay, let's do it. Frankie was another one. I mean, you might hear an announcer from backstage bring him on, but Frankie and the guys, they just walked out there because you knew what you were about to get when Frankie hit the stage. I mean, he was amazing, and it was always a smooth chill. I don't recall ever hearing a problem after a show, during a show, anywhere where Frankie performed, because he was so mellow. He just, the second he opened his mouth, it was all smooth. That's all it was all about. So this hour, we're going to dedicate it all to him. It's been a while since Juan and I have been on camera together. We appreciate everybody everywhere we went. Are you going on today? Are you going on tomorrow? Okay, so here's the deal. I'm on every Saturday morning and every Monday morning just to help you start your week off. John B. said, just a reminder, tomorrow, if you're going to the Tigers or Lions game, remember to get downtown early so that you can find a parking spot since games are at 12 and at 1 p.m. Thank you, John.
You might as well just go down there at 8 o'clock and just stay.
Park there and park somewhere nearby, wear your walking shoes, because the Tigers and the Lions, and here's the killer, they're both in, like, one is across the street from the other. The Lions, Ford Field is right there next to Comerica Park. So, we advise getting there. The game started at 12 and at 1. I say get there at like 10 or 11. That way you get a chance to go eat.
You ain't gonna get nowhere if you park down there at 10 or 11 unless you park in Eastern Market. I have to walk. You know what I wish? I wish they do little transit buses from Eastern Market to the stadium.
Shuttles? Yeah. Mm-hmm. That would be a good idea, because tomorrow Detroit is going to be electric. It will be electric. I would say on fire, but somebody will take that the wrong way. So let's say Detroit will be amazingly electric. It has been. I'm so proud of this city, Juan. I am proud of Detroit. Look at all we've accomplished all summer long. And yeah, we've had a few speed bumps along the way. People are acting stupid, but
that's everywhere.
That's everywhere, exactly. But we've had the NFL drafts. We've had the Jazz Festival, all these jazz festivals all over the city. It's been amazing.
And what's been also amazing to me is that the media is now talking about the white-on-white crime. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll get to that part. Ortego says you are so right. This city, when you look back, especially me and Ortego, because when we grew up at a time over on the Northwest side. His mom and my mom didn't know each other. They weren't friends or nothing like that, but they had the same idea to get their kids into a safe area. Now, so when I say that to say that when we grew up, shout out to anybody who can remember when you were a kid and you were able to leave your front door open on a really nice afternoon, and nobody would run up in there. You wasn't worried about nobody shooting.
Yeah, I remember.
Those days. The rules were be on the porch, not on your way to the porch, When the
On
street lights
when the
came
street
on,
lights came on, be on the porch
be on the porch.
or in the house.
Exactly. John B says, think about the Red Wings or Pistons playing at the same time of the Tigers or Lions playing. Yeah, that's a good
You know,
point.
there's going to be a day, sometime this year, where if in October, where the Lions, the Tigers, and the Pistons will be playing.
Will the Red Wings be playing? Will they all overlap at the same time?
I think the Red Wings play the next day. I got to look it up, but there's a day where the Lions, the Tigers,
And the Pistons?
yeah, and the Pistons, because if the Tigers go deeper into the playoffs,
Uh-huh.
they'll be there in October.
Now, yeah, the Pistons and the Red Wings cannot play at the same time because they
No.
play in the same building.
They play in the same building.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
And
I don't know. I think they got two separate stadiums inside the Little Caesars.
Dawn said her folks left her asleep in the car in the driveway after returning from a road trip. Now, you know your neighborhood is safe when you could do that. When we were kids,
No,
we
it didn't have to
worry
be
about
safe.
that.
It didn't have to be safe. It's just everybody knew everybody.
Yeah, and for the most part, where Ortega and I grew up, it was safe. You didn't have all the. Now, Ortega, I don't know if you've been over in the neighborhood lately, but my house and your house are the, two still standing that look really relatively nice. So I went back, just for, memory's sake, I drove through the old neighborhood a couple of weeks back, and I'm like, wow, I was 10 years old when I lived over here. I am 64 now. It's amazing, Ortega also heard from Zan Tucker. He is on Facebook.
Damn, you old.
Yeah, I'm not old. I'm getting refined. That's right.
Is that what the old people calling it now?
Yeah. Oh, shout out to Derek Denham, who is bringing Najee to the Fox Theater. Yeah.
Oh, really?
I mean, Najee, Keiko Matsui, Paul Jackson Jr., Everett Harp, Jeff Lorber. October 5th is going to be off the chain. It's going to be off the chain. Dawn says, trust and believe. Henry was in the dining room, locked and loaded. Oh, yeah. I was scared of Dawn's daddy, Yeah, but hey, guys, if you're not doing anything, go check out Gerard Gibbs tonight at Baker's Keyboard Lounge, the oldest jazz festival or jazz club in the world, bar none. Yeah, we've heard about all them other places. No, Baker's is historically the oldest jazz club in the world and hasn't changed much. Well, maybe some of the equipment, Good morning, Sean Keaton. How are you this morning? So glad you joined us. We are paying tribute to Frankie Beverly. We lost him, that soulful voice. And everybody, I did it once before, a couple of days ago, day before yesterday, the day I heard, I recorded 2 hours of Frankie Beverly and Mays. And what I may do for the next 2 hours up until 12 noon is reload those two shows. That way you guys, from now until noon, it'll be all Frankie all morning. Would that be cool? You think that'd be cool?
That sounds nice.
Because a lot of people didn't hear it. So what I will do is I will reload it. Also,
You know what I did this morning?
what?
Because I do a show for the UK.
Uh-huh.
I did a Frankie Beverly, James Earl Jones tribute.
Now, how did you manage that? He doesn't sing.
Oh, no,
You're
but
a bad father.
he has speaking clips in movies and plays.
Ah.
And
Now,
so
did you
I-
also
audio.
know that Frankie Beverly, James Earl Jones, before he passed away, he signed an agreement with the movie house to use his voice, and should they ever bring Darth Vader back, he has signed a contract that they may use his voice in AI,
Yes.
so that not only will his voice move on into the future, but his family's still getting paid too.
James Earl Jones was one of the smart guys that figured Disney out early on in his career, where he bought into the franchising of the characters, and he bought into royalties.
Yeah. And something a lot of people didn't know, he is a graduate of University of Michigan, the University of Michigan. And after, at some point today, everybody who's listening to my voice, check this out. I want you to go to YouTube and type in U of M hype video. And what it is they play this at the Big House before every game. And you hear James Earl Jones, and you see him putting his headphones on, getting ready to hype up the crowd. And it's amazing because we are the University of Michigan, where we stand for excellence. And we are the best in collegiate football. No one has won more games. I mean, it makes you so hype.
Yeah, I hope they didn't play that the last game.
Well, yeah, they played it, but they just fell short.
They didn't fall short. They got blew out.
The hype video makes you so excited. When I first heard it, I was actually at the game in the Big House. I was up in the VIP booth because it was cold that day. But it made me so hyped. I wanted to jump down there and get my little narrow behind beat up on and play. Because I was like, put me in, coach, I can do it. And it was like, take your 63-year-old behind back up in that booth.
Have you ever seen that commercial where who is that? It's Dan Marino is
yeah, and they want to play.
They want to retire and
wait a minute.
And play.
And he put his glasses on. He's trying to read the plays.
Oh man!
Also in football, speaking of football, Tyreek Hill. What do you think about that? He's detained for speeding.
You know what? That's the crazy. Have you seen the whole video?
Not the whole video. I have not.
You just saw what they played on the news, right? What they played on the news, they said that he didn't have a license. And that he was driving without his license and all this other stuff. What's funny about that is when you watch the other videos, the whole body cam videos, you see him
that's what I thought.
License and his registration out the window. What got the police officers upset is that he rolled his window back up.
I don't blame him. I don't want him.
And they knocked on the window and told him to roll down his window. And he's like, he cracked it and he said, for what? And he said, well, I want to see what you're doing in there. And he was like, I ain't doing nothing. And he was like, he said, roll down the window or we're going to take you out the car. And then he was like, never mind. You know what? Just get out the car.
Oh, and then they cuffed him, threw him on the ground. And
no, they didn't cuff him. They didn't cuff him yet. He was like, okay. So he rolls back up the window, unlocks the door. And before he could unlock the door real good, another officer is opening the door and snatching him out and throwing him on the ground. Now he's talking on the phone to his agent at the time.
Yeah.
And he's telling the agent, yo, man, they throwing me out the car and throwing me on the ground and everything. And he's telling them, look, I just had surgery on my knee. Y'all be careful. Think about how the Miami Dolphins would handle that if he had really got hurt.
Yeah, that's going to play out in the court. And I am curious. Hey, Keith Beasley, what's going on? He is the owner over at Channel One Event Venue over there on East Side, right off
I know
Jefferson.
Beasley. I know KB.
Yeah, but I think that, I think the police officers overreacted. But, I'm not going to say anything bad about police officers because so many of them are very close to me. A lot of my friends are.
You can say something bad about the police officers.
But there are a few bad apples everywhere.
No, you can say something bad about the police officers because what you say bad about the bad officers don't hit the good ones.
Yeah, it doesn't apply. Yeah.
It doesn't apply. So you can say what you want about the officers. If it don't apply, they can, it just stretch. It's just like, I don't like your brother, but me and you are friends. Just because I don't like your brother. No, I'm just saying, because I don't like your brothers doesn't mean that me and you can't be friends.
I understand.
Yeah, I don't like a lot of officers, but then, that doesn't stretch to all of them. And then with me, I have a lot of law enforcement in my family and in my friends. And so when I talk to them about certain things, they like, man. And so my whole thing is this, because I do have a friend that will go and hit them bad officers. They'll be in the locker room fighting. For real, he will go and beat them up. His whole thing is this, if I can't tell on you and I can't expose you, You gonna get these hands. He
You go-
told me that.
Wow, that's crazy.
If I can't expose you, and if you in the precinct,
Yeah.
do something shady, I can't expose you. Gonna get these hands.
Wow, that's amazing. See, I mean,
And there's a lot of officers that handle the things that handle other officers just like that.
oh, and see, John B just put it in there. He said also 2 of his teammates got detained at the same time when they
Yeah,
were
they did.
trying to make sure he was okay.
Yep, because they was all
And
out
I
to
recall
lunch.
hearing about that, hearing about one of those friends. They cuffed him up too.
Yep, they cuffed him up and sat him down. He didn't even care. He was just like,
And he was
okay.
just trying to defuse the situation, trying to de-escalate it before it got to the point and
But
it got to.
This is the funny part. All those officers were sitting at a corner stop in the motorcycles. All the motorcycle officers were sitting at a corner stop. He passed them. They said he passed them speeding. Now, if I pass you speeding and I give you my license and registration, and then another officer tells you, "Oh, that's Tariq Hill," you know, are you mad because I'm a star? And you just want to show up on me? And then how fast could you be going with all that traffic out there?
Yeah, and he was right outside the stadium, or not far from it, as
Not
I
far from it.
understand it.
Not far from it. And it was a lot of traffic. So if he was speeding in short bursts.
Well, I saw the car. That was a very fast automobile he was driving, to be sure.
But even if he was speeding, give him a ticket and let him go.
Forgive me, folks, for saying this. I'm willing to bet. I'll bet $100 that the officer that threw him up on the ground, who didn't care, who was just overzealous, somehow there is a Trump connection there. Oh, yeah. We got to talk about it. We have to talk about the debate. Those poor people in Springfield that are eating the cats and dogs.
You know what?
I saw
feel
cats
for
and
'em.
dogs in cars speeding, getting the hell out of Springfield.
I feel for the homeless people that have to eat the cats and dogs. I really do. When I was in Ohio the other day, I did see Alf. So I'm pretty sure that they are eating cats and dogs. At least Alf is.
Now, wait a minute. Keith Beasley, a former police officer, says, my thoughts are a little bit different from Juan's regarding that arrest. Once see the full video, you know why the officer did what they did.
I seen the full video, but I still think the officer was in the wrong.
Overzealous. Let's call it overzealous.
Because this is how you know the officer was just power tripping. When he put Tariq down, he tell him, when I tell you to do something, you do it when I tell you, and not when you feel like it.
He told him that? You could hear that?
Yeah, that's one. That's one. When he goes to the friends, and he tells the one officer tells him, get back in the car and drive off. And he said, okay, I'll get back in the car, but I just wanted to know. And then the other officer that threw Tariq down goes down there and tell him, forget what he said. You're listening to me now. Forget what that officer told you to do. Now you're listening to me now. I'm putting you in cuffs.
Keith's response is, but you don't know if I'm a police officer's point of view. I don't understand that response, Keith. You got to be more clear on that. I want to talk about, y'all talking about still on Tariq. I want to talk about this kid, the poor folks in Springfield who are eating cats and dogs.
Well, they say we've been eating cats and dogs for a long time.
People say it was a bad thing. I don't know.
They say we've been eating cats and dogs for a long time because Chinese food.
I got another question about the election. How come no one has seen or heard from Melania Trump, whatever her name is, Donald's wife? We haven't. Now, the first time
you haven't heard from her in years, though.
Yeah, when he lost the election, when he lost the election, she just disappeared. I don't know what's up with that.
She hasn't been in the limelight in a while because she wants to stay out. She doesn't agree. I don't think she agrees with Donald. When you watched him during his presidency and she was with him, she didn't want to be touching him. She didn't want to be near him. She didn't want to be around him. You can tell.
I kind of got that flavor, but that's, my opinion. And I try to keep my opinions to myself. When I give you my opinion, I'll say, now this is my opinion, but I try to keep that
But
to
let me
background.
let me jump back to the Tyreek Hill and Keith Beasley real quick
You and this
because
a poke police officer in Miami gonna catch
be-
hell from why?
because my thing is this: the one officer, it was just the one officer that was really going maniacal,
Mm-hmm.
and he was the one putting people in handcuffs, throwing people, making people sit down. When Tyreek said, I don't want to sit down on the ground because I just had knee surgery. And there was nowhere for him to sit but lower on the ground, which would almost probably injure his knee again.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's look at it from a police perspective. They don't know what's going on when you roll up your window and they ask you to roll it down. First off, you go to the window and you knocking on it real hard. That's on a $250,000 car. That's one.
Mm-hmm.
Two, when he says, "Okay, I'm gonna get out," you don't allow him time to get out. That's two. That's where I'm having the problems with. But even still, he could be in the car. They don't know how these traffic stops are going to end up, and so yes, I can see them getting a little hype. But when you got somebody compliant, that should de-escalate the situation. But
Very true.
But he didn't. So when the friends pulled over, it's like, hey, that's Tyreek Hill, blah, 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 blah. We going to the stadium. We got a game today, such and such and such and such. They could have been like, okay, give us a second. We're going to go and run his stuff, give him his ticket, and let him on his way. They never ran his stuff in the whole police video. One officer did take his stuff, did run it, and then, but it took a long time to get there. They arrested the friend. They told the other friend to get in the car and drive off.
With that being said, and John B brings up something I was getting ready to piggyback on. John B says the window also being tinted is a factor. Are they stereotyping?
That's legal in Florida.
Young black men that are driving these expensive sports cars. Was that a red flag for a police officer?
I don't think it was that. I think it was mostly the fact that they felt like he was getting smart with them.
Keith says you should have your window down when the police officer walks up. I agree with Keith on that. We've all been pulled over. I pull my window down, and I already have my license and my registration and insurance ready.
And he did
when they come up.
He did. So, but he wrote it back up.
And see, another thing that I do, I go that extra step, and it's a law that you have to do this. I have my CPL, and if I have my firearm, first thing I'm gonna tell them, yes, officer, I have a CPL holder, and I do have my firearm with me. Now that may shake him up a little bit. I'm like, but my hands are in full view.
I'd be scared of that.
But you have to tell them when you get pulled over. You got to show them your CPL, and you must tell them if you have a firearm in the car.
That's a scary situation because in all that you do, you have to make it home.
Now, Ortego says if there's recorded evidence available, the court should take proper action, which could be unfavorable for that abusive officer.
Yeah,
I think it's going to lean in that direction, Ortego.
The one officer, I guarantee you, he's going to get either fired or
he's going to be
laid off for a while.
He's already on desk duty.
Right.
The moment it happened, they pulled him off.
My thing is why. So with the tinted windows in Florida is legal. But I think the officers felt that he was kind of like, disrespecting them because he rolled up his window on them.
Yeah. But I tell you something else about those tinted windows. Now, I bought my Lincoln in Texas. And when I drove it up here, I was living in Farmington Hills, and somebody made comment to me that your windows are a little dark. I'm like, well, the truck was bought in Texas, and it had the tinted windows. If you don't have tinted windows in Houston, you're going to toast. And it's just proper. But see, the police officers didn't bother me because when I came up here, I had Texas plates on my truck. So they was like, okay, he tinted windows. He's got the Texas plates. Okay, I give him that one.
Well, my whole thing is this. You have to assess the situation just like the police have to assess the situation. So if you see that an officer is a little aggressive or he's a little smart alecky, you need to be the one with the calmer head,
Yeah.
because
Calmer heads always prevail.
you gotta get home,
Yeah.
because any situation where police gets nervous, it end up in your death.
Corey says cooperate 100% while black. You know,
But we
you
have
already
there's
DWB
been
driving while
situations-
black.
there's been situations where we have cooperated 100%.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
it's not even about that. It's about being able. Black people have to be psychologists when they out, and they have to be police officers. They have to be soldiers. They have to be everything that everybody, whatever the occupation is out there. Doctors, nurses. They have to be all of that while they're out there.
Okay.
Because
One moment,
you
Juan.
never
Let me thank everybody who is joining us. Richard Clemens, Selena from down in Columbus, Ohio. Be seeing you real soon. Corey Brown just with us. We are playing all of Frankie Beverly from now till 12 noon. I just changed up the system a little bit. All Frankie from now till 12 noon, so you can cruise with us wherever you go. Okay, we are also talking about the Tyreek Hill incident down in Miami on his way to work. Now he's got this exotic sports car and the windows are tinted and he's running a little late, so he's speeding a little bit. He gets pulled over and the officer walks up and he cracks his window. He said license, registration. He hands it to him and he rolls the window back up. Officer at that point gets a little, let's call it miffed, shall we? And it's like, sir, step out of the car. And he says, why? And, you know, at that point, the officer opens up the door, drags him out of the car, throws him on the ground. And I counted, I only saw a part of it. I only counted 3 officers, but that's way too many. I mean, one guy is on his back. The other 2 are holding his head down. And I did read somewhere they were pinching his neck to keep his head down. That's a maneuver the police officers use to keep you grounded. Keith says, with blacked out windows, it took him a minute for him to roll the window because he was on the phone calling people. No, he was on the phone talking to his agent, and that pissed the officer off, and he was talking stuff to the police when he rolled the window.
When he rolled the window down, he said, why? He said, I can't see you. He said, why you need to see me? And then he rolled the window back up. That's what pissed the officer off.
Well, here's the point. When an officer pulls you over, they have to see you for their own protection. They don't know what you have in that car. And
Not from what I heard.
You are innocent until proven guilty. But in today's society, if I'm a police officer, I need to know what you got in that car. If you are aiming a 12 gauge toward my chest, my head, or whatever, and I can't see it coming, I need to see you. So please roll the window down. I mean, now maybe the officer could have been a little bit more soft. I'm not going to say soft-spoken, but a little more polite, shall we say? Excuse me, sir.
According to the law, which this law is not made for black people. What you're lawfully to do is hand your license and your registration out the window. You do not have to crack that window more than what you need, more than enough for you to talk out the window. You can roll it back up. The officer does not need to see you. That's what it says. It is lawful.
I want to play
as a black person.
I want to play the devil's advocate here. That may be the law. However, in today's society, where police officers are walking up to a car and might get opened up on, you know, and you've seen it happen. Go to YouTube because it's on YouTube.
I know.
People like pow, 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 you know, and
because he feared for his life.
Absolutely. I mean, I couldn't be a police officer. I'm going to tell you, I'll pull you over. I'm unstrapping my pistol right there. And I'm going to stand at an angle. If you do shoot at me, you're going to shoot your shoulder off. Because I'm like, I need you to roll your window down so I can see. You got your windows tinted. I need to see what's going on inside that car. And why do you need to see? Because I'm out here and you're in there and I can't see inside the car with your tinted windows. That's why. I mean, we're going to have this conversation about this, and if that's where it's got to go, that's where it's got to go. But I'm looking out for my safety, you know, at this particular point. Keith said negative. You have to have your window down with blacked out windows. And Keith is a former police officer.
So
Okay.
Keith, help me understand this.
Dawn says, hell, if you get pulled over in Highland Park, 5011 cops.
That's because all the cops in Highland Park ride by themselves.
Yeah, you're
They
right.
all ride by themselves, and that's bad. That's just bad. But Keith, help me understand something. Everywhere else in America, you do not have to talk to the officers after you're handing them the license and registration. They say you can stop talking and not say anything. You can roll up your window and everything else. Is that just the law in Michigan where you have to keep your window rolled down?
Ortega says you can have the window cracked, but the officer needs to see. If he goes further than he should, he is at fault. Now, Ortega is on the highways constantly. I'm not going to put the man's business out there like that.
Right.
I can say he is on the highways constantly. So if anybody else knows the law, it would be Ortega. All right. So we got a couple of people in here. We got a police officer. We have somebody who's always on the highway. And I know both of them very, very well. So,
We just need a lawyer in here now.
somebody call Mike because Mike wins. Yeah. But I mean, it's a sad turn of events. Keith says the officer needs to see in the vehicle. And I
So
agree with that.
So he positions himself so he can see in the vehicle, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the officer that stopped Tyreek was not in the position to see himself, to see what was in the car when Tyreek rolled the window down.
Right, correct. Now that's a two-seater he was in.
Yep.
Now
And
let's change it up a little bit.
And he
Change
stood
it up.
further back from the car and off to the side.
Yeah, and that's the
he got
safest
the,
place.
after he got the license plate, after he got the
driver's
license in the insurance, he backed up from the car and stepped back. But when he walked back after Tyreek after the police officer knocked on the window, he was kind of behind Tyreek. So he wasn't in position to see in the car.
Two things are wrong with that statement. Number one, that's an exotic car, and the doors butterfly when they open up.
Yes,
Number
sir.
one. Number two, for his safety, he has to be at that angle because if the guy does have a firearm, it's difficult for him to shoot over his shoulder at somebody. You see
So
what I'm saying?
wouldn't it have been advantageous for the officer to stand by the side view mirror?
No, because that puts him in complete line of fire. That does put him in complete line of fire. If you stand right next to the rearview mirror,
if he's standing right at the window on the side of the window where he can see in the car, he's still in the line of fire.
if he's standing behind, say, you're sitting in a car. If somebody's standing off of your left shoulder, right behind you at a 45-degree angle, it's challenging for you to swing around and bust off the cap, But if he's standing next to that rearview mirror, which is now in front of the driver, it's a straight shot. So I get it. I get the fact that the officer is positioned. Now, what I think would be more advantageous if there was another officer, one of those other officers were over on the passenger side.
Yep. There was an officer on the passenger side. It was 4 officers out there.
Don said Tyreek need to be driving a Prius to work.
or something.
He ain't got to worry about speeding. That's for damn sure.
My thing is this. Now,
good morning, Ron.
All those officers out there. Now, one of them was able to say, "Yo, calm down, bro. We got this. He's gonna."
Where are those officers? Because
he's gonna chill with us.
In any incident that we hear like this, there is no officer, never an officer to say, "Yo, why don't you chill out a little bit, man?"
So
he is on the ground.
Now, there is a video out there, and I'm gonna tell you where this video is on YouTube, where a female officer saw that one of the commanding officer was overdoing it. And he went into the car and he was punching the guy, trying to get him into the car and everything. And she was like, yo, he was okay. He was getting in the car. And the guy wasn't getting in the car fast enough. And he went to reaching the car and punching him and everything. She pulled him out of the car. He turned around and choked her up.
The other police officer choked the young lady who was also a police officer, choked her up.
Yep, choked her up and told her, don't you ever put your hands on me.
check this. My brother, surgeon, driving to see my niece. And this was, I think they were living in North Carolina at the time. And so he's driving a rental. You know, he has exotics, but he drove a rental. He didn't want to put his exotic on the highway. And it was night. And he missed his exit. And so he pulls over at the next exit, you know, and turns on the little dome light and opens up a map, you know. And because he has the navigation on the car and on his phone, but it was misguiding him. So he opened up a map. Police pulls up behind him and gives him the 3rd degree until he handed him his identification, driver's license. He's like, well, I'm a surgeon, sir. He was like, what? Because the officer, the conversations went back and forth to, what are you doing out here? What do you do for a living? What you doing out here? And blah, blah, blah. He said, well, I'm a surgeon if that's of any, if that's any concern of yours. And my daughter, who's a physician as well, you know, I'm going to see her. And I just got, you know, misguided here. And after he heard the articulate, because my brother is very articulate, tone in his voice, you know, and he went back and ran the license and all the rest of this. And then he came back and he had changed his tone. The officer,
Yeah, but that's an officer that was doing his job.
ah,
There are other officers that would have tried to make you say something to trip you up. See, and that's another thing. When they say after you give your license and registration to the officer, you are not obligated to speak to him after that. All the questioning and things like that they go through, you're not supposed to say anything to him. Now, which I don't agree with. Because if the officer asks you anything, if you're not doing anything, you going home or you going to work or you going to see your friend or you just going to the bar, you should be able to say that without an issue.
yeah, well, there are certain things that officers nowadays have to ask you when they pull you over, especially on the interstate.
Well, where
know,
you going is a gimme question. It's a gimme question. Where you going? Where you coming from? I can't tell. Like, you can't be on the freeway and tell the officer, well, I just came from a friend's house. What was you doing at your friend's house? I was getting me
Now
something.
that's none of your business.
That's none of your business. I was getting busy. What?
I could be going for a funeral. I could be going for a Bible study. You know, I ain't. You know, they do have the legal right to ask you, "Have you been drinking?" No. Okay. Because if they have articulable belief, I believe is how it's said, that if you're driving erratic, if you're weaving, you know, and some of them say it. And see, that's why they think the dash cam is a wonderful thing, because they can't say that if you were not. You know, if you were speeding, because the speed comes right up on the screen, you know, it tells you how fast you're going. So he wasn't speeding. If you're not weaving,
the car,
why are you pulling me over?
Well, that's the thing that's going to happen, because if they ever, you know, put the little machine to the car and get all the readings from that day, they can see how fast he was going.
Oh yeah, you know, when I was driving up here from Texas many years ago, a friend of mine and I, she had a BMW 325 convertible, and she looked like a white girl, but she was Mexican. And we drove through Texarkana. We drove north out of Houston, veered over into Arkansas, and I got a police escort because I was driving. I got a police escort all the way to the county line, and he radioed ahead, because as soon as we got to the county line, he stopped following, and another one got behind me, drove for about 50 miles. I'm like, isn't this so sweet? They giving us, because they saw the top was down, and they saw her, they saw me.
That wasn't why. They were like, hurry up and get these Negroes out of here.
But they thought she was a white girl, see, because she had blonde hair.
They were trying to figure out if she was being held captive.
Yeah, John B says, or extracurricular activities, it could be a female friend. Exactly. You know, you have to be careful when we are out there. You have to drive defensively, intelligently, you know, and
again,
be safe. That's what you got to do.
Black people have to be psychologists, psychiatrists. They have to know them. They have to be able to what's that? Have a psychic ability to know how you feeling that day as a police officer, so I can make sure I can get home safe. They have to
Now,
be a nurse, a
Keith,
doctor, all of that.
I agree with Keith
And
on this one.
we're the only people that have to be like that.
Well, I agree with Keith on this one. He says it's all about your attitude once you get stopped. That's going to determine a lot in most cases. Tyreek had an attitude from the jump.
Yeah, I agree with
And
you.
that's how it
Tyreek
turned
had an
out.
attitude from the jump, but look, Keith, that's not across the board. That's not an across the board thing.
Yeah, it's not
Because
in all cases.
there's been people that have been compliant all the way to the T, and still the man that was compliant and told the officer, I have my CPL, and handed him a CPL with his daughter in the back of the car, gets shot dead, and he was compliant all the way.
Now,
So that doesn't be having the best attitude doesn't mean you're not going to go home. It just means you just got a good attitude.
Keith recanted. He said, we didn't recant. He reiterated, I said most cases, not all. There are bad people. I work for the government. There are bad people in the government. God forbid. John B., don't let Harry hear that. But there are bad people that work in every field. There are bad pilots. There are bad other people. I'll just say that. We're going to stop that real quick.
But Keith, answer this. Answer this. With all the cops that don't want to be labeled as bad cops, how come the good cops don't stop the bad cops? Or how come the good cops don't say anything to the bad cops or tell on the bad cops?
Dawn,
Because
Vicky said hi.
they expect when something happens in the neighborhoods, they don't expect that no snitch thing to ride, because they want to solve the case. So they want us to tell what happened. How come these officers are not telling on each other?
Well, I agree. I mean, I'm not real down with the snitches get stitches rule, and I mean, because my belief is this: you mess up and you end somebody else's life, you have ruined that person's life, ended it. You've ruined their family. You've ended your life and ruined it. You need to be held accountable. Period.
But because of the and I hate to make this comparison, where because of the gang mentality of the police officers, you had the same gang mentality in the street, because they're not going to tell. Just like there's a blue wall of protection, there's a street wall of protection in the streets. They're not going to say anything against people that they know might retaliate against them later. And that's the same thing with police officers. Most police officers won't say anything about other police officers because they know that with the mentality of, there might be the mentality of the gang that they're in, they might retaliate against me later.
A lot of this is based on your integrity. You do the
Yes.
right thing because it's the right thing to do.
Yes.
Keith says the body cam will tell on them.
Not in all cases.
Not in all cases, because some guys, I didn't know to turn it on. I forgot to turn it on. If you don't turn it on, you're held guilty. You're guilty. Period. That's good. That's a slam dunk in court. I spoke to a
What
couple of
happened
police
if the
officers I
court-
know with body cams, and they must keep it on.
What happened if
At all times.
What happened if when the police officer pulls you over or the police officer arrests you, and they don't have their body cam on? That they start throwing out those cases?
They got to be held accountable. They got to be held guilty because they didn't
Who
turn
has to
it
be
on.
held guilty?
The officer for not having the camera on.
Okay, but if I get arrested and there's no body cam footage, the court should just kick the case,
If you were wrong,
regardless if I'm wrong or right. If the body cam is not on, see, this is where we get into.
shout out to John. We do wear it on our left sleeve.
Right. This is where it gets tricky. Do the court take the word of the officer now that because the body cam footage is not there because he forgot to turn his body cam on, or did it take the word of the defendant because the officer didn't have his body cam on?
But then that's when
Well,
police
what
work
happened?
comes into play.
You said
I
that's when
mean,
what?
that's when police work comes into play. That's where before body cams, you had to you do your detective work. You know, if there was an accident, you can actually, if you go back and retrace the accident, recreate it, you know, you can see what happened. You know, if there are skid marks, if there are gun casings, if there, the angle at which the car hit the other vehicle or hit the wall, or it'll tell you exactly what happened. Now, if there was no accident, if you just pulled the car over and a shootout ensued and there was no camera footage.
That's different. A shootout. You shooting with the police. I expect you to go not only get in the car under handcuffs. I expect them to beat you up on the way to the jail. You
Oh, it's
put my
gonna
life
happen
in
anyway.
You put my life in danger.
You know,
Before you get to the jail, and when they get there, if they look all beat up, and when they take their mug shot, trust me, there was something else going on.
see,
You know-
Ortega, me and Ortega, you can tell we went to the same schools. He said forensic science. That's just what I just detailed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
It depends on where you at. It depends on where you at. You gotta read the room.
let's move on, shall we? Let's talk about something good. Let's talk about our Detroit Lions, who did the doggone thing and about to do it again.
Look, all that smack that they was talking about what they was gonna do when they get to Detroit, it was Matthew Stafford revenge game and all that other stuff.
They still looking for some revenge.
They still
They still looking for it.
they 3 down in the revenge category.
And
3 down.
now it's going to be a lot tougher with Tampa Bay. I mean, although we know what to
No,
expect,
I don't
they
know.
have a
I don't-
strong run game. They have a strong receiving game.
They built up their team since the GOAT left. Tom Brady. Since Tom Brady left, they built up their team a little bit. They still don't have a good passing game. They have a
Yeah,
good
well-
running game, and the Lions have been subject to not being able to catch a good running game.
Well, I don't know. They were
But
doing pretty
this
good.
year, the last 2 years, they've been doing pretty good against the run.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know. It might be a tough game, but I still see the Lions coming out on top by 3.
Here's my whole take on the Detroit Lions. I love me some Honolulu blue and silver. And get me to the big dance, baby. Just get me there. You know,
Look,
because
we was a game away.
When the Lions make it to the Super Bowl, that's going to be a national holiday. Everybody in Detroit calling in sick.
I'm definitely calling in sick.
We ain't going. You know,
If we can't go to the Super Bowl,
I can't come into work today.
I guarantee you, if the people that want to go to the Super Bowl can't go to the Super Bowl, there will be monitors in downtown Detroit, all over Detroit, where you can sit and watch the game.
There's gonna be monitors in the Ford Field. They're gonna put a big screen at Comerica Park.
Yep,
They're
yep.
gonna put
Little
one
Caesars
at
Arena.
Little Caesars Arena. I'm gonna have every TV in this house on.
Look, let me say this. You thought they had monitors on the street during the Jazz Festival. It ain't gonna be nothing. You won't be able to stop at a light without watching the game.
No, it's impossible. No, don't worry about that because nobody will be driving in Detroit. Everybody's
They'll
gonna be
block out
somewhere.
streets.
Everybody's gonna be somewhere watching
Ford
the game.
Field gonna be
When
crowded.
the Lions get
Comerica
to the
Park
Super
gonna be
Bowl.
crowded. If you don't get your seat in Ford Field early, if the Lions make the Super Bowl, so you can watch it on the screen, you're just gonna have to watch it in the cold at Comerica Park, or you're gonna have to watch it at Little Caesars
In
Arena,
the parking lot.
or you're gonna watch it in the parking lot. You're gonna be able to watch it somewhere downtown. You just won't be able to be inside the Ford Field.
You ain't never lied. It's gonna be a national weekend holiday, 3-day
Look,
weekend.
Think
The
about
day-
it like this. We have not seen the Lions go to the Super Bowl in
Ever.
our lifetime. Look,
Ever.
but we seen them get close for the second time in our life. Second time. We was one game away when we had Wayne Fonts. Now when we got Dan Campbell, we was one game away. So I'm looking for us to get over that hump.
Let me tell you, there have been a few things. See how blessed we are. Everybody who's within the sound of my voice, see how blessed you are. You have lived to see a black president. You're getting ready to see the first woman president. You're getting ready to see Detroit Lions go to the Super Bowl. That's a trifecta right there.
we have seen our lowly Tigers win the World Series twice
Yeah, at Tiger Stadium.
at Tiger Stadium. One at Tiger Stadium, one at Comerica.
I mean, for those of you youngins who don't know what the hell Tiger Stadium is, it used to be a big, it was
used
on
to be-
Michigan and Trumbull.
Yep.
And I saw the Lions play football in Tiger Stadium.
I saw the Lions play at Tiger Stadium. I saw them play at the Silverdome. I seen them play at Ford Field.
I have never seen the Lions play at Ford Field. However,
What? Oh, it's comfortable.
you
It's like
have not
walking in-
seen the Lions play and win at NRG Stadium in Houston. They played the Texans. A friend of mine gave me tickets. I was on the 47-yard line, 11 rows off the grass. You could smell the grass. And they opened the roof, and I was like, they gave me, my friend gave me 3 tickets. So I took 2 of my buddies, and I was like, from that moment on, I was like, from now on, I got to pay at least $400 to $500 a ticket to go see the Lions play or see an NFL game, because I'm going to sit lower bowl. I'm not sitting up there and have to watch a big TV. I got to be down there.
When the Lions was losing, we was able to get tickets in the lower bowl for like $125, 125. Everybody was getting them tickets. Now you can't even get those tickets anymore. You sitting in the bleachers, or don't say you getting you a box or
You can
a
forget
suite
about that.
upstairs. You can forget about
Eminem
that.
the only one could afford that.
You
Eminem
ain't
got a
kidding.
box, okay?
You ain't
You know,
kidding.
I mean, if you
But
are like
I'm glad to see it.
extremely
I'm
wealthy.
glad to see it that the Lions
Oh,
are
yeah.
being respected now. Because at
Man,
first didn't
I am
nobody
so happy
respect the
for that,
Lions.
for that organization. What's her name? Miss
Firestone.
Firestone, and she is a member of the Ford family.
Yep, they're married into Firestone.
That's just money, marrying money, ain't it?
Yeah.
But and see, Dawn worked for the Lions at that time, and
When the tickets was cheap as hell. Tell them to
no,
go
she
back
was
to
there
go,
a
tell them
year
to go
ago.
back to that, Don.
She was there a year ago. She just didn't go back this year. You
Tell them
know?
to go back to the lowly price tickets for the little people.
But I mean, it's amazing that the average family, even the middle income family, can't go to a football game because you got to balance out. Do I pay the house note? Do I go to the Lions game? Do I pay my car note? Do we eat this week or do I go see the Lions?
Hey.
Why does it have to be so astronomically, stupidly high?
Because
I mean,
the
one
popularity.
seat is $450. If you go to Dallas, it's like $600 to get a lower bowl seat.
The more popular the team, the more the prices cost.
Yeah, very true. I mean, now you can go see the Pistons. You can take $10 worth of bottles in there. I'm joking. The Pistons, we working on them, bringing me back to the bad boy days. What up, Phil J.
man.
Firm?
It would never be that. It never. You know who gets so much disrespect
Who?
from those days? Isaiah Thomas.
Isaiah was one of the baddest point guards to ever touch a
Think
basketball.
about it like this. Think about it like this. He's a 1-point guard that has beat 3 superstars at their prime.
Yep. He beat Jordan, he beat Magic, and he beat Bird.
At their prime. And
At their prime.
No. I'm sorry. Not just the 3 superstars, 4 superstars.
Did I miss somebody?
Clyde Drexler.
Oh, Clyde the Glide. And I
Remember we
met him
beat
too.
Portland? We beat Portland. So
I mean, we were bad. We were really bad. Oh, this is our last record for the hour. Guys, I got to get off the air at top of the hour. Sorry about that. But listen, make it a great day. It's going to be 83, 84 degrees in Detroit today for the next 5 days. Looking forward to it. Maybe we might go out over to the TV Lounge on Monday. I'll check with Tree and have Born Jazzy. I hope you can check me out. If we do, I will get on Facebook and let you guys know we'll be over at the TV Lounge on Monday evening from 6 till 10. For the next 2 hours, you can check out all of Frankie because I loaded all Frankie Beverly music. Stay with us, WJZDRadioDetroit.com. I want you to have a wonderful weekend. Be the reason why somebody smiles. Be a blessing to somebody who can't bless you back. Okay? Do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. Share our station, share this station, and share Juan's station.
Yes,
Okay.
do that.
I love you so much more, my brother Ortego. Got to put eyes on you, though. All right? Make it a good day on purpose. Do it with authority. And remember to make each and every day count. We are WJZD Radio, Detroit.com. Juan, what you got?
Look, when you get out there, black people, go out there, be the psychiatrist, be the doctor, be the lawyer, be the whatever you need to be today. Put on your super cape and get home. Live, laugh, and love, and take care of yourself.
All right. Thanks again. I will be back on the air Monday morning, 9 o'clock. We're going to do it all over again. Hope Juan can join me. You know, he get lost sometimes. He can't find a studio, you know. But listen, as always, it's been our pleasure to be with you. We want people, it burns me up when people say, well, Detroit ain't got a jazz station no more. Yes, we do.
Detroit.
WJZD Radio. Oh, and I met Dina Centofanti from Fox 2 yesterday, Juan.
Uh-huh.
It was amazing. She was so nice. I gave her my card. I was like, listen to the
She is
station.
so tiny.
Well, they all are. They're all kind of short.
She is tiny.
You know? Camera makes you look
I
tall.
was like, what in the world? It's
But
like,
she's so
I
cool.
don't want to shake your hand because I feel like I'm going to crack your arm.
Well, hey, make
She
it a good
is
day
cool,
on
though.
purpose.
She is cool.
And I'll see you guys on Monday, Juan. If he's available, you know how he is. He don't
I
show up a lot.
try to be there.
All right. Oh, Agent J, listening from Florida. Oh, shout out to what's his name? They just left for Houston this morning. I was just looking at it. What's my man's name? DJ, he does the gospel thing for us. I forgot anyway. Safe travels to you.
Safe travels.
All right. Take it easy. And if it's real easy, take it again. I'm out of here. Make it
Well-
a good day.
Well, you might have to rephrase that, though. If it's real easy, you might want to check it out before you take it.
All right. Tune in. When we turn the cameras off, guys, the music for some of you will stop, but it doesn't have to. Go to the website right there, WJZDRadioDetroit.com. Let it load, press play, and enjoy all this Frankie Beverly until noon. We out of here. Peace. Thanks for watching.